It's time for another wrestling podcast.
All right. Are you fucking kidding me?
Guys, I got blocked again on Twitter.
I'm your mark of marks.
That's the most reliable source on the interwebs.
The social assassin at your disposal, bitches.
Guys, I broke the golden rule.
You're an asshole. You're a fucking asshole.
I fell into the trap of social media. I wasn't thinking. I didn't think about it because I scrolled through Twitter. I'm on Twitter.
You're an asshole.
I'm not.
Are we talking to Steve Credo right now? Is this Credo?
We had
This is somebody else.
Sounds like somebody else we know.
Let's fill in the listeners of why we're pissed off right now.
I'm not gonna exactly tell you what was told to us this morning, but I wake up on my fucking one day off. You know, it's like 10 o'clock. I get to sleep in. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna fucking wake up and tug on my peck. Let me grab my phone and find the right video. And I get a text from Credo in our glorious group chat that gives us NXT spoilers.
Man.
I always look at the messages when you guys come through, and the second I saw that, this motherfucker is high right now. What the you understand, man? I love you guys.
I wasn't
but
thinking.
You pissed me off, man, because I love to watch my NXT as if I'm watching it live.
Yeah,
and now I know that something big is going to happen. Thank you, by the way.
Oh man, when I saw it,
you know what though? I because he told us what was going to happen, I did read about it. They did film two different endings to the match.
So
he could be wrong.
Could be wrong. We'll have to find out next week. See how mad you are still then. But I wasn't thinking. I saw it. I thought it was almost like I didn't see. I guess when I saw it, I didn't see. Hey, this doesn't happen till like a week or so from now. I thought it happened because I didn't. Like I said, I watch Raw live, and I'll DVR SmackDown, and I'll watch NXT whenever I can. So I figured it happened. And we complained. We had like 2 shows about this already about fucking spoilers. And what do? I fucking.
This was
spoiled
literally
it.
last fucking week.
The worst.
Credo, you're terrible.
Dropping the ball.
You know what?
You should put yourself on the list of Credo.
I'm on my own list. I made my list. Well, it was a crazy weekend regardless. We still got to see some good wrestling. And if you watched the Royal Rumble, you probably worked 2 shifts, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. Are you kidding me? That was the fucking, pre-show plus full show, 12 a.m.? What the fuck is going on? Guys, it's that long, man. I'm afraid for Mania. I have to, test or pace myself so I don't drink so much because I'm going to have to be... I don't want to miss anything for a fucking 10-hour show or whatever it was. Man.
I'm going to miss a lot because I'm sitting behind the stage.
Behind the stage, there you go.
I'm going to have to piss. You're sitting behind the stage. Cooter's going to be the only one to be able to see it.
I'll tell you something, though, man. My buddy had a Royal Rumble party because he wanted to show off his brand new, 110-inch projector screen, which the thing was fucking amazing. But I will never watch a pay-per-view event with casual fans ever again. It not only was pay-per-view long, and I love some of my friends, but they annoyed the shit out of me because they know I'm the hardcore wrestling fan and they're the casual fans and they don't really follow it well enough like we do, and they don't know anything outside the WWE bubble. So they don't know anybody from NXT. They don't know anybody from the UK NXT brand. You know, I had guys that didn't know who Finn Balor was. It was annoying. They asked me, why is this guy Pete Dunne wearing a one-piece bathing suit? They were just so confused. It was annoying. And I'm never doing that again. I will only watch a long-ass event and suffer with people that actually enjoy the product. I'll suffer with you guys one day.
For me, the best part of the fucking Rumble night was our group chat. Because quite frankly, we should raffle off tickets, to help pay for our overhead. We can't get sponsors. But we should just allow one person to buy his way in and we'll raffle it off. You can be in the AWP creative group chat during a pay-per-view for WrestleMania for a set price, dude.
I like that.
That was pretty, dude. You kind of stole the show this time, Credo. You're a dirty motherfucker.
What did I do? And
what
let's not
didn't
give away
you
all
do?
the secrets again.
Oh my God! I'm just saying.
Don't give away too much. They got to pay for that detail.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just, woo.
My goodness. Well,
I will just say one thing, Credo. There were a lot of Asian superstars.
Yeah, I
with
noticed
the
that
Royal
too.
Rumble, and I'll leave it to the readers' imaginations because we know how Credo feels about the Japanese and now the Chinese, apparently.
I thought I was watching the sequel to Crazy Rich Asians. What the hell is going on? It was like, it's definitely crazy. But last week we talked about, what was going to change. This had to be the pay-per-view of change, and Brock wins again.
This is all we're going to get, Credo. I'm going to throw out some stats.
Oh.
I'm going to throw out some stats.
All right.
Based on some of our predictions last week. Credo was saying this is going to be the new WWE. It's all about what we want. Here's a list of what Credo wanted. Shane McMahon and Miz to not win the tag team belts. They won the belts. If WWE doesn't let Finn Balor win, they're just like screwing the fans over. And Brock Lesnar wins again. I think he wanted a little bit more white Royal Rumble, but there were a lot of Asians. And I will say this, Credo. You did pick, out of your 3 picks for possible NXT superstars in the men's Rumble, you picked Gargano and Aleister Black. Mike Colon.
Should put money on this.
Oh, God. Colon said that fucking Becky Lynch should beat up R-Truth and win the men's Royal Rumble. You literally said that at the end of the show last week, Mike.
That wasn't a prediction. That was just me throwing, shooting the shit out there. I did not say that would definitely happen.
I know, but that was something you said might happen. But the point
said
is,
if
that almost did happen with Nia Jax, is what I'm trying to say.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was wow.
That was like, it was bad, but it was funny.
Yeah.
At the same time, like I enjoyed it because I hate Nia Jax, and I also enjoyed it because of the fact that, like, if you went on Twitter the next day with the feminist groups like protesting it and arguing about it, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Found it.
And all I saw was a big Samoan woman attacking an African American from behind and stealing his opportunity that he earned. That's
the biggest pop of that was when they showed the camera and they put the camera on Randy Orton lurking, ready to set up the RKO. That crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
When he was setting that up.
So, oh man.
One more thing I'm going to throw out.
Yeah.
One more thing I'm going to throw out was the idea that I had for Finn Balor losing to Brock Lesnar and then entering the Rumble because he was going to be Mr. Tenacious. He wasn't going to stop and then win the Royal Rumble. It didn't happen, but they used that exact same idea for Becky Lynch. She lost her title match and then won the Rumble.
Don't get me started on how she lost that title match. The fact that she tapped, it just defeated everything for me.
And going against somebody who's going to do a submission.
It's just defeated. Like, if people are going to compare her to Stone Cold from now on, just go jump off a bridge, please. Because Stone Cold never tapped to the sharpshooter. He passed out.
Yeah.
And that's what made him.
It's the sharpshooter. It wasn't the Oscar lock, bro.
I understand that, but if Becky is going to be the man and come off as this person, she should have just passed out. That's how they should have booked it. She should have never tapped. Not only that, Asuka had that lock on for 4 seconds. Go back and watch it. 4 seconds, and Becky was tapping. There wasn't even a fight. And then you want me to believe that she earned a spot or deserves a spot in the Royal Rumble? Like, I don't understand how that wasn't brought up on SmackDown this week. It was like, how are you the man when you tapped out? Ronda had full ammunition to attack that, and she never did.
Yeah.
I would have been all over that.
I get like they have to.
And I love Becky too. Don't get me wrong. I love the character, but she should have never tapped out.
All right, so we have Becky as the Royal Rumble winner for the women. That altercation on Raw, guys. I mean, some people loved it, some people hated it. Her kind of put in almost like Ronnie on the spot, if you will. What do you guys think about this? Because this is potentially the main event for WrestleMania 35. Ronda's not, I don't think, is that good on the spot promos, but I personally feel for what she said, even though it probably wasn't the greatest, was probably one of her best on the spot promos she's ever had in the WWE since arriving. So now that's saying a lot. I mean, if you will, she's still trying to be that face, but you see when they kind of egg her on, she's just, I don't know, she just wants to.
She can't handle that crowd heat, Credo, Bubba. Let me tell you.
That's what was crazy is that crowd, man. Tell me about that.
They booed the fuck out of her, and she did not know how to react to it. And that promo at the beginning was trash. And when Becky came out and showed her how you cut a fucking promo, wow. But I'm going to say this. Ronda's rebuttal was straight fucking fire. That she's been a household name for 10 years in a sport that didn't even want women in it. Like, wow, you talking trailblazer status. This is what I've done, bitch. And everybody knows in reality that I could kill you with the snap of my fingers for real. Like, oh shit.
And that wasn't even the WrestleMania crowd. That was Royal Rumble crowd. Granted, that's a lot of fans, but that's still like 1/3 of what you're going to get at WrestleMania.
The first promo she cut was bad. Yeah. I mean, the worst thing she could have did against a smart crowd was admit that she bumbled, that she stumbled. Because at one point she's like, all right, you guys got me. You made me stutter. You don't do that to a smart crowd that wants to get themselves over. You don't, because then they're going to take that and they're just going to keep going with it. Now you fast forward past the Bayley match and you go right to that promo with Becky Lynch. Whoever the main event for the guys are, whether the WB title or the Universal title, they have a hell of a job to do to try to get us emotionally invested into what they're doing, as if just like how I am invested into the Becky versus Ronda saga right now. They are doing a hell of a job making me believe that this is the main event at WrestleMania. I don't think anything else needs to be the main event for WrestleMania. That being said, Charlotte is going to find her way into this match somehow. It's going to be a triple threat. I mean, the interwebs are saying it must be true, but I mean, I think that's the plan they're going with. Let me ask you guys this. I mean, for me, I want to see a one-on-one match, but are you guys okay with Charlotte getting interjected into this match?
I think the crowd's going to turn on both of them. Like you saw them turn on Ronda, to where they want Becky. Don't fucking get in their way kind of a thing, to where you add Charlotte in there, she's already accomplished so much, she doesn't need to do it. And if they add her, she's just going to get booed to shit too. I mean, her and Ronda are just going to get booed. I mean, Becky is the one that they want, and that's I don't upset the fans, I think. Don't do it. I'd say just leave it one-on-one. Give Charlotte Asuka again, or some kind of multi-match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Do not ruin it. Do not get in the fans' way, because it's at her, man. It's what we say, and if you bring her in, you're gonna kind of ruin Charlotte to where you're just gonna have fans turn on her for no reason other than she's in the main event.
I don't know. I don't want her in the match, but not necessarily for that reason. I don't think they're gonna turn on her. It's New York. New York is fucking bizarro land. There really is no rhyme or reason. Would I boo Charlotte Flair personally? Probably not, because I think the person who's going to have that kind of heat is going to be Ronda, just because wrestling fans are looking at Ronda as, you don't belong here. You have this belt. They're making you look unstoppable. These are the people who built a women's revolution when you weren't here. So I could see Charlotte getting the cheers, not Becky Lynch cheers, but I could see the crowd respecting Charlotte and everybody just dumping on Ronda. Now, I don't want Charlotte, and I would love to see a rematch with her and Asuka. I think it has to be a one-on-one, but I think WWE might be nervous that Ronda might shit her pants in New York.
Yeah.
She might pull a Sid, dude. Like, granted, she's main evented pay-per-views for UFC.
But it was a real fight. It's not fucking.
Yeah, I mean,
timing it out and
This isn't a work. Yeah, I mean, this is a work. This is a performance. This isn't kill or be killed. You know, it's. I think it's a different type of butterflies. Personally, I know she's in these high pressure situations, but I think your biggest crowd was in Australia, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be in a professional wrestling ring, but I do know what it's like to be in a cage, and it's a different type of butterflies.
Yeah.
And that quote that Mike Tyson says is the absolute truth. I know this from experience. You have a game plan until you get punched in the face. And then next thing you know, you're literally going off the fly. Now, my question with Charlotte, I'm just going to say that I don't want her in there. I want a traditional one-on-one match.
Mm-hmm.
But if they want to incorporate storyline, Charlotte does have a valid reason why she should be in that match. Because A, Becky Lynch was never supposed to be in the Rumble. Charlotte should have won the Rumble. B, Becky Lynch tapped. And C, Charlotte beat the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, and made her tap. Charlotte, in my opinion, I love Becky Lynch. Charlotte is one of the best female wrestlers, if not the best wrestler on that roster. She is
probably
amazing.
In the world, maybe
Yeah,
even in
absolutely.
history.
And that's not even using her last name. I'm just calling her Charlotte right now. I'm not saying it's because she's Ric Flair's daughter. I'm saying it's because she is the person that did that. She's the person that got herself over. So if she interjects herself in that match, give me something different. Like I was listening to Busted Open this morning, and Bully Ray brought up this topic, and I thought it was brilliant. Rather than having a traditional triple threat, make it an elimination style, how they used to do it in ECW. Where
Three-way dance, yeah.
Three-way dance. And then I brought up a point to somebody earlier today, and I even brought it up on Twitter. What if they threw a swerve at us, and the first person eliminated was Ronda? Like, just like how, remember when Taz defended the belt against Masato Tanaka and Mike Awesome?
Yes.
You thought Taz was this unstoppable beast, and all of a sudden, when Taz got pinned, that whole arena just like the air just got sucked out of it. But like, what the fuck just happened? We're guaranteed a new champion.
Yeah.
They can do that at WrestleMania, where Ronda's the first girl eliminated. And next, you know, you're guaranteed a new champion, and I guarantee you get rid of the weak link Ronda. And I don't want to take anything away from Ronda because Ronda's amazing in the ring, but she's not as good as those two girls.
No,
you take Ronda out of that picture, and I guarantee you're going to have a classic with those two in the ring.
No, yeah, and on both of your points though, I understand where adding Charlotte is definitely like that crutch because. You know, if you think about it, it is a different kind of a match for Ronda on that spotlight, and especially when everybody's booing you, it definitely changes probably how you're going to react on certain things. But at the same time, too, I mean, Ronda's been having good matches. I mean, she had a great match with Charlotte at Survivor Series. I mean, it's a different type of match, and I think she can hold her own. But at the same time, it is if WWE isn't feeling a little bit afraid about what's going to happen. I think by adding her, we can see that happen. But after all that, what the hell do you do with the damn SmackDown Women's Championship? Because now that just almost feels like the Women's Intercontinental Championship. You know, it's like, do you put Asuka on the pre-show, or what kind of match do you give Asuka to kind of like say that this is a Women's Championship too? Because on one hand, we have one championship that's main eventing the show. And our other women's championship, she's just on the pre-show, or like how do you?
And you know what's fucking funny about that is, well, no, see, I would be wrong. I was gonna say, imagine Asuka had won that last year. So yeah, the woman who's the women's champion is on the undercard, but she defeated two of the women who were on the main or in the main event.
Yeah.
Now, who like if Charlotte is put in that match and it becomes a triple threat? Who's ready for Asuka?
Who is? Like, yeah.
And if the women's title match is on for SmackDown is on the pre-show, talk about evolution.
Oof, evolution. I know.
Because there's nobody left on that roster that's really worth watching.
I'm telling you, they need to reevaluate all their titles. Like, they need to have. You got the Intercontinental one, the United States on one. You have the Universal on one. You have the WWE on one. The Women's Championship almost needs to be like that. Like you have the women's championship on one, and then you have the women's intercontinental or whatever, and then you have like the tag championships on one, and then it's.
All right, you're confusing me.
But you know what I mean? Like they have to have one of. Stop having 2 women's championships, 2 tag team championships. Like they need
All
to.
All right, how about this?
Here's
a great idea. Here's a great idea. All right, you've already basically made it a triple threat. Why doesn't Asuka come right down and say, I got nobody to face, and I got this here belt, motherfucker. So why don't we throw this one on the line too, winner take all, and make it a fatal 4-way?
I'm trying to picture Asuka saying that with her accent too.
Just saying. Theoretically.
Yada yada yada. Nobody's ready for
Asuka. Fatal 4-way. Take everything.
So many options. I love it. I wish we could book the damn show.
Because yeah, you're right. Who on SmackDown faces her?
I would hate to be booking that show right now, to be honest with you. The easy stuff is out of the way. Now you got to think of, stuff like who's going to face Asuka that's going to be WrestleMania worthy. What are you going to do with the U.S. title? Like, there's so many things that, we shit on the writers and the producers, but then you really think about the job that they have to do, and you're just like, shit, like, nobody's ready for Asuka right now.
Billy Kay or no?
The road to WrestleMania, and I'm fucking exhausted already from the fucking 20-hour Royal Rumble. Anyway, going back a little bit, let's talk about Finn Balor, because this whole match, why is it every time nobody can just beat Brock Lesnar in a wrestling match? Why does, like, a table have to be involved? He gets hit between the legs. Like, something silly has to happen that he has to get worn down with, and then he loses. But
because that's the only way it's going to be believable for a 185-pound fucking man going up to a 300-pound beast.
No,
that's why, Credo.
Okay. Well, after that, then, the next night, you have Seth Rollins taking, I think it was like 5 F5s, and then he's still able to get on the mic and saying, I want more or whatever. I'm like, you're going to tell me that Brock Lesnar can beat Roman Reigns, can beat Daniel Bryan, can beat Finn Balor, but, Seth Rollins, same kind of build, maybe a few pounds more, but still a little guy, that Seth Rollins all of a sudden is going to have that whatever in him to beat Brock Lesnar. So that's just, I think it's ridiculous, but I get keeping it on him till WrestleMania. But, okay, going back to Nia Jax real quick.
Wait. Question. Do you think it's more bullshit that fucking Rollins is no-selling practically his F5? You get what I'm saying? Like, that just makes no sense to me. So you're going to let Roman Reigns kick out of his F5 like 10 times at WrestleMania, but Braun Strowman is not going to kick out of 1 or 2. How many?
Yeah, I forget how many.
Seth Rollins is going to talk shit to him after 5?
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, if I'm Brock Lesnar, I'm going up to Vince and chucking that belt at his head and being like, dude, when are you going to let people stop kicking out of my fucking finisher? I have 3 moves, and one of them's a finisher, and everyone's kicking out of it.
Oh, man, that video was great, though. You bring that up. That was right after the Rumble, too. They showed it, and people are almost thinking that was, like, after the Rumble, but where he threw the belt at Vince. I love it. That's some real footage. That's,
that I watched that documentary before we got on, and I wanted to see more to it, because they gave you the teaser in the beginning of it, and then towards the end they gave you the same thing again, and then that was it. There was no closure to it. There was no follow-up with it. Like, I want to know what happened. Like, all you saw was the belt getting chucked, and you heard, asshole! And then that was it. And then, the best part was, like, so go back and watch it again, right? Before Lesnar walks through that curtain, there's a referee standing there, and then when Lesnar walks in, that referee just, like, jumps up against the wall, like, awkwardly, but, like, scared for his life. And then when Lesnar threw that title, it was like everybody was quiet and just, like, scared.
The fucking Seth Rollins is sitting right there, too, by the door.
Go back and watch the atmosphere in that room. Don't watch Lesnar anymore. Go back and watch the atmosphere. It is hilarious to watch.
Oh, man. I really wish we knew some more behind that, because people were saying online, like, the finish was changed halfway, that, it wasn't going to Roman, that they kept it on Brock, and, man, I wonder what that's like, though, being in a match where you go over it, Roman's winning with this, and then all of a sudden the ref's like, what does he say? Vince says, that's it, you're keeping it, or something, like, you have to change it on the dot then just because of what, the crowd? Or I wonder what happens in that match that makes him say, I'm not putting it on Roman right now, or something. I don't know. Back to the Rumble really quick. Let me vent about this. Nia Jax. Why do we have a women's Rumble when a woman can just enter the men's Rumble later on? That's just like saying, well, why can't the men enter the women's Rumble? Or Nia Jax did not belong in that, even though I loved seeing her get her ass kicked. But come on, fucking Nia Jax. The only reason she's there is because she's the fucking Rock's cousin. She would not be anywhere else where she is right now without that fact right there alone. But fucking Nia Jax. She's not good. She's not good on the mic. She's not good in the ring. She's just a big fat Samoan, and that is it. And she just happens to be related to The Rock. That's her resume.
He just went racial. Like, now it's Samoans you don't like, dude? Japanese and Samoan?
She is Rikishi with fucking spandex on. That is it. That is it.
As much as I hate Nia Jax, and like I just can't stand her, and from listening to you vent about it, I think the WWE accomplished what they wanted to do.
I know.
We're talking about her. We're talking how much we hate her. She's getting the heat that they're going for. They accomplished something.
All right, let's not talk about her then. Let's prove a point. Let's prove a point. But yeah, man, I mean, fucking 5 p.m. till 12 a.m. That's a fucking long time to dedicate for a fucking Rumble. And granted, yes, you have a women's Rumble and a men's Rumble. That women's Rumble was drawn the fuck out. There was just... I feel like the women, granted, I just don't know if the timing is right. That
was some of the best moments in our group chat, though, Credo.
I know. Well, Maria Kanellis, it was Maria Kanellis that I'm pointing out, and what the fuck's her name with the hat?
Alicia Fox.
The whole fucking top hat thing that lasted longer than it should have. Like, it should have been a 5-second fucking thing with the hat, and that's it. And it's like, I feel like they don't have their timing down on a lot of things, and they just draw it out, and it's so long, and I don't know.
That women's Rumble was night and day compared to what it was last year.
Yeah.
Well,
last year was great. Last year was great, and then this year it dragged. I found it so boring. I could not get into it. It was just terrible, and I think it went on a lot longer than what it was supposed to, and I felt so bad for Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles to have to go out there after the crowd was just completely worn out and just exhausted from that match, because that crowd was not into it at all. That crowd woke up during the Lesnar and Balor match, but they were just not into the match with AJ and Daniel Bryan. And it's not the performers. I think it was just that women's Rumble. It just dragged.
Yeah.
And the difference, Credo, I'm going to say between this year and last year, the first women's Rumble, you had a lot of surprise entrants. You had Trish. You had Beth Phoenix. You had all these, God, even Kelly, Tori Wilson was in it. So there was a lot of surprises. Even Michelle McCool. I mean, that was awesome. Now this year, Maria was your surprise entrance? I didn't get it. Yeah. Not that I expected like a lot of surprise entrants, because you pretty much used anybody that you could use for future Rumbles last year, right?
Yeah. And the one thing I want to add too, because I was watching it. Yeah, I was watching it with I was watching it with a bunch of casual fans, and the WB, they love to like ring in casual fans, right? We all know how they're obsessed with that. Well, these casual fans that I was with, the majority of them were just going home after, because they just couldn't find interest in it. They weren't invested into it. They didn't like it. So like half the party that I was at left before the AJ Styles match, because they weren't going to wait till midnight to see the men's Royal Rumble.
You can't really blame them. I don't
blame it at all. No, definitely don't.
Did anybody else, if you weren't at a party and you were at home, would you have stayed up? Because I was pretty close to going to bed, dude. Right? I'm like, it's like 11 o'clock. I got to go to fucking work in the morning.
The only reason why I stayed up was to watch the Balor and Brock match and then the men's Royal Rumble. Those are the only two reasons. If the women's Rumble closed again this year, I would have went to bed.
No.
I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, well, once again, going back, though, last week, we said, what had to change? You know, I wanted Finn to win. I thought it was a great match. Brock, I think, balances himself out when he has these smaller guys, because you get the little workhorses around him, and it's not two big behemoths like The Undertaker and Brock, and it's just like it gets a little bit boring. But when you have a guy like Finn doing a lot of crazy flips, right, or doing just a lot of crazy stuff, it's fun to watch. But once again, let's go back to the whole Shane McMahon effect. Almost it seems like every year now. Shane, like
I was so happy.
Oh my goodness! Like book it. It's like once again, Daddy owns the company. I'm gonna make myself the champion. There are so many other guys, so many other teams, and it's like they could put these championships on to make it so much more meaningful. And it's like if this championship has to change hands before WrestleMania, like the next pay-per-view, they need a match, and then whatever they're gonna get Shane into again this year, just get the belts off of him because it's ridiculous. I don't want to see Shane go into fucking Mania with the Miz as a tag team champion. That's like, come on, like stop booking yourself in the fucking main event like certain other people on certain shows.
Well, that's gonna be the match.
Credo, I'm not gonna lie. When they won those titles, I was laughing my ass off.
Because I know.
Right? I was like, oh, Credo's got to be going ballistic. And then I'm thinking to myself on SmackDown, when they had that fucking, was it a Four Corners elimination match for the number one contenders? I'm like, oh my God, if Heavy Machinery wins this, Mike Colon and Steve Credo are both going to go fucking ballistic, dude.
Oh, it's just...
I watched them get that clean win on the New Day, and I forgot that it was an elimination match. And when I saw them get that clean win, I literally just froze for a second. Like, what the fuck?
It's almost at a point though, even though we have these two huge rosters, that I think we can almost go to unifying these kind of titles. Like there doesn't need to be two tag titles for each show. I think having one tag titles champions that go back and forth to Raw would be fine, especially if they don't have enough people. But man, I think that's what's going to happen with the women's tag team championships. It's just going to be one tag title that goes back and forth, and it's just you're getting to a point now. I love championships, but we're getting a little bit crazy now. Too much shit going on. Go back to that.
Oh, Credo, you love those championships. You just hate the names on them.
I know. Well, overall, the Royal Rumbles, though, I mean, it was fun to watch. Who's that girl, that Ninja Warrior? That was an awesome spot to fucking put your legs on the post and then pick yourself up like that. That was a good spot to do.
Casey, I remember her. She was the one who dressed as like Superman or Superwoman when she was on an American Ninja Warrior, I think.
Yeah. She's dating Ricochet right now.
Oh, that's right. And she is signed to NXT. She's not on the NXT roster page, but according to Wikipedia, she is training down in developmental.
She was in the Mae Young Classic.
Are you telling me Ricochet broke up with Tessa Blanchard because she didn't get signed by WWE?
I don't know. That was a shock to me because I thought him and Tessa were still together, and then I saw the video of him and that Casey chick, and he was like almost crying because he was so happy for her, and I was so confused.
And it's like they haven't been friends that long to be crying like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. It's weird.
So yeah,
I mean, she actually is very good. I saw this video where I forgot who she was wrestling. It was an NXT house show, and she did this crazy hurricanrana to a head scissors and then flipped up into a stunner, and it was the coolest visual that I saw. And I thought she was going to pull it off at the Rumble with Rhea Ripley. It's Rhea Ripley, I believe, because they gave them like the space in the ring. And I thought it was going to happen, and it didn't. And she just got tossed out.
I was surprised they had Rhea Ripley in there. I'm thinking Toni Storm was going to be in this motherfucker.
Well, not till after her leaked video gets some time away from the screen.
PC,
but
we got to be PC, Credo.
I know.
We can't speak ill or make jokes about women anymore. No more jokes about Charlotte Flair's chest. No more jokes about Tamina's, well, whatever. We're going to have to refrain from questioning things about Tamina. We have to ask her or him what her preferred pronoun is.
Preferred pronoun.
And then I think we'll be safe. So, when we're talking about Tamina, use the proper pronoun when we find out what the fuck it is, okay?
Do you think you could keep yourself PC for...
Let's try a few things. Let's talk a few segments, Credo. Go ahead.
All right, AEW. How do you feel about people talking about it so highly without having a show yet.
AEW, it's a great T-shirt company.
You see, I actually love that meme.
Yeah.
I'll take credit for that. I actually really liked. I thought that meme was hilarious when I saw that.
That's fantastic. That really made me happy. It's a great t-shirt.
I laughed my ass off when I saw that because I mean, like, granted, I'm a supporter with AEW, but that meme was actually pretty funny.
Well, you know, a lot of Royal Rumble though, real quick. NXT TakeOver also happened, and you know, man, it's such a different world watching TakeOver, especially since it was only what 3 hours or compared to 10 hours or whatever.
I don't even think it was 3 hours. I think it was just under. I think it was like 2 3/4. Not that I want to argue over 15 minutes, but you know what? Fucking, that's just so awesome because these pay-per-views went from 3 hours to 4 hours, unless it's one of the big four. Then it's even more. And now I'm like, TakeOver, 5 matches, a little under 3 hours. That's perfect. And all these matches got a good amount of time. I really could have done without the opener, though. Just saying. I'm Matt Riddle. I'm not sold on him yet. I hadn't seen too much of his stuff on the indies.
That wasn't the opener.
Well, I'm talking about that. I know that's the first match I saw. I had to watch that on the replay.
All right.
Fucking, that's another match I really wasn't too happy with. It almost seemed like a squash. But back to the Matt Riddle one. Matt Riddle has not really impressed me, but then again, they haven't really put him in the ring with somebody who you're going to have a great match with, especially somebody like Cassius Ohno, where it was a lot more than just the rope shaking, and I don't want to body shame him, but Jesus.
Yeah, I think Cassius Ohno needs to. I don't know what he was really doing anymore, except for enhancing the new guy stepping up. But if you get Matt Riddle versus like Keith Lee, I think that'll change your mind. Probably a few other guys, but I'd say keep those eyes open. Matt Riddle, I think he's definitely going to impress a little bit.
Yeah, well, a guy like Cassius Ohno, his role is pretty much the stepping stone. But I've been reading a lot lately on the fabulous interwebs, the world's greatest sources, that allegedly he's out the door soon. He's no longer going to be with the company, so he's not going to get any type of pushes anytime soon. So
I wonder where he's going to go.
I wonder. He'll probably go back to Evolve.
Or the buffet line.
Yeah.
Fucking Chris
Whoa,
here.
whoa. Don't body shame him. We're keeping it PC, bro.
What would you say to him then, keeping it PC?
I would say I could see him going to a smaller promotion, and I just want him to take care of his health. And I'll just leave it at that. I want you to take a good look at your health and just, do something about it. I worry about him, because those jerseys can only really stretch so much.
I was looking at an old video from ROH with him, and he used to be tag partners with Cesaro.
Yes,
and
world's
greatest tag team, yeah. And he was basically like as thin as Cesaro was back then.
Yep.
Like you would never, if you looked at him now compared to what he looked like when he was tagging with Cesaro, two completely different people.
Yeah, it's funny because that's why did they let him go or did he just leave or something? Yeah, I forget what happened exactly, but I think it was because of his body. I think they were even telling him that too when he was in NXT the first time, and I think they let him go or something happened. And then meanwhile they hired Kevin Owens, and then it was I'm not saying put them next to each other, but but it's funny he kind of took his gimmick in a way because he was Cassius Ohno KO, and then Kevin Owens came in, and then they gave him the whole KO knockout brawler kind of a thing.
The best part, not only did they give him the KO gimmick,
but Kevin
Owens is fat.
So it was like,
oh my God, I'm
him.
such an idiot. The greatest tag team in the world is Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
Yeah, you know what? No, the Kings of Wrestling.
Kings of Wrestling, yes.
Wrestling, yeah.
I'm on the same hate now.
I was thinking that for some reason too.
Well, overall though, NXT was great. Gargano got a title, which I would have thought if he lost and then we saw him on the Rumble, that would have been like him moving up kind of thing. But I guess they still have plans for him down there. But overall, I mean, I don't think there's one bad thing to say. NXT was great. The timing was great. The matches were great. There was something for everybody. And it's sad, I feel like, to me, that NXT is like the adult wrestling in a way. But even though it's the minor leagues, and then the main roster is the fucking circus, the kids show. In a way, it's some of the stuff that they're doing. But anyway, I don't have really anything else to say about NXT TakeOver. It was a good fucking show. Watch it if you haven't watched it. That's I don't know. There's really nothing to nitpick about it.
I know what you really liked about it, Credo.
What was that?
Not an Asian in sight. Not an Asian on the card, bro. I know. That's okay.
I love my Asians.
It's all right.
I love my Asians. Well, speaking of Asians, Hideo Itami gone. Asked for his release.
Segue, bro.
You know. So hear me out. I got a few things I want to say. Then I want you guys to tell me what's going on, because this guy was the top guy in Japan. Comes over, was the top guy for like a week in NXT. Then Finn Balor came in, and then the rest is history, right? Now with the big news, Dean Ambrose is not re-signing. Now I know you don't want to hear this, Cooter, but with AEW in the works, with Ring of Honor out there, there's a lot of options out there. New Japan. What do you guys think about this? Because it seems like there's a lot of things going online of why it's like WWE's never done this before. Why would they say his name, or why would they say he's not re-signing? Especially since it's still January when we recorded this. It's going to be February, and his contract doesn't end till April. So that has to be really adamant that he's not signing, and there's nothing they can say to him to change his mind. So what do you guys think about this? Are people just leaving? Are they dropping like flies? I don't know.
I think the Ambrose thing is a work. I really do. I don't know why. A part of me is just telling me it's a work. I mean, I could see him not happy, because if you look at how he was when he was on the indie scene as Jon Moxley, how edgy he was, and then now you have him on a PG product, which his character isn't a PG character. And I could see him wanting to do more with it, but he's restricted. I could see him being unhappy. But at the end of the day, I look at this as we're being worked, because we're seeing all these rumors going around of people allegedly, wanting their release and all that stuff. And they could probably recreate a CM Punk moment with a guy like Dean Ambrose, where he's out the door in April, so they could build this into something. But then next thing you know, he's back. Or they could just make him sit at home from now till April, and we think all of a sudden his contract's expired, and then next thing you know, he attacks Seth Rollins, who just won the Universal title. That would blow up.
You're kind of going off what you said. Somebody stated this online in a group on Facebook, that with all these guys unhappy, I mean, you had the Revival that were unhappy, who allegedly asked for their release. Maybe they weren't granted. Who knows? Mike and Maria allegedly asked for their release, but they were just literally on 205 in the Royal Rumble, so I doubt they got, they're not getting released. But from the Revival, Hideo's gone. Even guys like Dolph Ziggler, who's kind of said he's been unhappy. And then now with the whole Dean Ambrose not renewing his contract, people are like, maybe they could form a nice little faction of guys who are just unhappy if you had like Dean Ambrose, maybe a Dolph Ziggler, the Revival, and this little group. Do you think, I don't know, this is just Mark's being wishful thinking maybe, but could that kind of lead to something too, where these guys, you just have like a group of these guys who just hate the current, status quo or whatever, WWE? Or is that just too far-fetched?
Oh, here's an idea. Who gives a fuck?
Hey, keep it PC.
That was PC. All right, you know what? The PC thing is over now. Okay, it's 2019. All right, I don't give a fuck. Here's how I honestly feel. We have so much talent down in NXT. All right, somebody like a Tommy who came in with this he was a flop, bro. He's the fucking Anthony Bennett of goddamn NXT. Okay, scrub. You even put him on 205 Live, a guys his size, he still doesn't stand out. Yeah. He had one good match on 205 Live. God, what's your favorite Hideo Itami match there, Mike Colon? And Mike Colon loves it. Loves him some Kenta.
My favorite one was on 205 Live with Roderick Strong.
There you go. And those are two guys who weren't even on that fucking roster at that time.
And he had some good matches in NXT. I mean, he had a match with Finn Balor. He had a couple matches that never really got the notoriety that it should have. But, and I loved Kenta outside the WWE, but, you're absolutely right. When he came to the WWE, I just couldn't get into him.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't. I was excited, and then once the ball started rolling, I'm just like, not into this. I'm not in, and then he moved up to 205 Live, and like, oh, maybe this is a breath of fresh air for him.
Yeah.
It just didn't do anything for me.
No,
so,
and that's my point.
Yeah.
Credo is quite simply that, dude, we have all this fucking talent. Some of these guys, dude, they've been on the shelf. We dust them off here and there. Somebody like Zack Ryder, all right, we'll put him on TV once every 3 months. Dolph Ziggler gets like a nice push for like a month every 3 months, but you still kind of sort of see him on TV here and there. It's like, I'm kind of over these guys. I kind of like the fact that we have so much talent. Let's start fucking thinning these guys out, man. You can't corner the market on all the talent and use it all properly. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And some of the it's best for both WWE and these guys. They go somewhere else and make a big name for themselves. Maybe they want to come back. Look at Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, 2 WCW guys who started over there, went to WWE, became big stars, went back to WCW, became even bigger fucking stars. So tell me that there's something wrong with that. They should go.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a work too, only because they kind of kissed his ass in that whole little statement too about, that we'd really like to see him back in the WWE in the end. In the end, something had to happen that he's just totally upset. I mean, granted,
his wife still works there, Credo.
I know.
Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever seen the WWE put out a statement like that for a contract or a wrestler that's soon to be up?
Well, I can't.
Punk.
No, definitely not Punk.
I can't remember a time where someone like that big didn't want to re-sign their contract. I mean, granted, the Punk thing was a little bit different, but they even made that into a work though, because it was like, he left, put the belt in the fridge and whatnot. But it wasn't like, hey, Triple H is leaving. And so it was almost like, I think they wanted to get ahead of the story so that all of a sudden now people are finding out after WrestleMania, well, how come they didn't use Ambrose? How come they didn't do anything with him at WrestleMania? Because he wasn't signing a contract, so why are we going to give him a fucking match at WrestleMania? You know what I mean? So I think it's almost to get ahead of the story why he's not getting anything big, maybe. And it's kind of kissing his ass too, because like I said, at the end they kind of are like, well, we really wish that he comes back here or whatever they said, but it's weird. It's definitely weird, and I don't know, I guess he kind of has that attitude from what I've seen, just in signings and just on TV, and what else?
Podcasts.
What else can he do? I mean, he's been tag team champion, U.S., Intercontinental, World Champion. He's been everything, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, he's
coming to a pro wrestling tee store near you, John Moxley, and take your fucking wife with you. Do me a favor, because I'm tired of my ears bleeding from listening to that worthless hole talk on my TV. I'm over the woman commentator experiment. I think she's okay. But, dude, she just doesn't mix with Cole and fucking my boy Corey Graves.
It was this past week, he said there was something going on. I wish I remembered it and wrote it down or whatever, but she was saying something, and then Corey Graves...
He told her to shut up!
Yeah, because it was just like nonsense or something. It was just, and it was like, it was weird because it wasn't scripted. You could tell that they were just going back and forth, and it was like, ugh, this isn't good at all.
The Mandy Rose thing, maybe?
I forget, yeah. And
there was something during that segment I want to say.
And what sucks is with them is every time that her husband or Dean Ambrose was on, it was like they'd always have to ask her, well, why is your husband doing that? It's like, break that barrier. Just because they're married doesn't mean we have to talk about them on commentary. Just commentate. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to get involved with your relationship outside of the ring. Like, just fucking talk about what's going on. Don't ask her how.
Stays backstage and does the interviews and maybe the occasional fluffing. I don't know. Just stay off the commentary, because, and I don't want to say that because you know what? I actually enjoy every so often Beth Phoenix when she does commentary. She's not bad. There's something about that worthless hole that I just makes my ears bleed.
Well, with Dean Ambrose too is that the Rumble, he didn't have really a good spot at the Rumble. I mean, he didn't, really last. He wasn't even in the Final Four. And then even on Raw, Seth Rollins beat him kind of easy, pretty clean. But he still had a good spot with Triple H. And people were saying like the whole Nia Jax thing was kind of to embarrass him a little bit or something. It almost looked like he was gonna do like a pipe bomb speech, but they kind of threw her out there or something. You know, it was weird. Now that you know that he's leaving, if you watch Raw again, it's kind of like weird of how they used him on Raw a little bit. So anyway, Dean Ambrose, we'll see what happens. Get out of here. I'm very excited about this new hemp championship by Daniel Bryan, which has to be the greatest. It's greater than the Stone Cold belt, the fucking rated R spinner or whatever. This completes Daniel Bryan right now and his whole gimmick of what he's doing.
You just cracked the code, bro.
What's that?
You were talking earlier about them doing like press releases for people who might be leaving. What about when Stone Cold quit and fucking Vince acknowledged it live on television and then put the beer in the middle of the ring? That kind of counts, no?
I don't know. It's a little different.
It came off kind of scripted.
We got to remember this is like months. So February, March, April. At least now 3 months until his. I don't know when is his exact contract ending. Like after Mania.
It's after Mania. Allegedly, they said.
So I don't know.
I mean, they probably put it out there too, just so dirt sheets wouldn't run wild with it and stretch the truth. You have the actual source putting it out there. So
many things that could happen. But like I said, this hemp championship wouldn't. Now, what's funny is that it's 100% renewable, whatever, yada yada yada. But if they sell this on the fucking Shop Zone site, they're gonna kill so many fucking trees making these fucking replicas because it's gonna be fucking made out of wood and hemp and all this other shit. Which is kind of funny because if you think about it, he's trying to save the planet. Now we're gonna fucking kill forests for this damn replica so people can fucking have it. What do you guys think about this? Is this completed? And lo and behold, Rowan is with him. That just doesn't make sense. Just because he has a fucking ginger beard and fucking we have to stick him with Daniel Bryan.
So look at this. Just picture this, guys. So that hemp title, I personally think it's ugly. I think it's just hideous. I thought it was hilarious though. It's hemp, but just imagine the Elimination Chamber. Any one of those guys, other than Daniel Bryan, wins that match, and they have to hold up that hemp title because they're not going to have the actual title there. We're not going to see that actual title to the next SmackDown taping. So at that moment, let's just say a Samoa Joe wins the Elimination Chamber, and he has to hold that hemp title.
He's going to rip it apart.
How awkward is that going to look?
I'd love to see him destroyed.
What's even more awkward is the fact that, dude, how out of shape is the upside down Sheamus? Did you see the gut on that motherfucker? And Credo, there's another one of your ones that you called it didn't happen. No Bray Wyatt.
No, that's a surprise. And I think
that shocked me.
Well, there's another one too that surprised me too. But Bray Wyatt, Lars Sullivan, fucking Nia Jax ate up 2 of those spots. It seemed like, but no, figuratively speaking, ate up 2 spots. But but no, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like, when do you bring Bray Wyatt back? Because he's a fucking great worker. I don't care what his gimmick is, whether, whatever he's doing. That was a great character, and to fucking let him go to waste? Come on. But Rowan, you know what's funny? Because, okay, Rowan came out with Bryan, and I'm like, where's Luke Harper? And I looked up Luke Harper's fucking Twitter just to see what the hell he's doing, and he has the most bizarre Twitter going on right now because... let me read some of his tweets. It's Thursday. You know what that means. It's Wednesday. You know what that means.
He's been doing that for years.
And I'm like, that's all he tweets. He'll retweet some things that maybe if it's a figure of him. Other than that, somebody's like to see Luke Harper, would like to see the sub club. Or, I don't know. Someone's tweeting him, and he's like, I'm never coming back. And he tweets the day of the week, and you know what that means. I don't know what that means.
He's been doing that for the past 2 years.
This motherfucker
I still haven't figured it out.
450,000 followers, and that's all he tweets. It's so I'm like, okay. So, well, on the good point, we don't have the Bludgeon Brothers anymore, thank God. But on the bad point, Daniel Bryan doesn't need a fucking ginger beard diesel with him. He was fine as it is. And it's like, man, somebody really loves Harper just to keep putting him with something.
Rowan. Fuck, I would, it would make sense if it was Harper because at least he can work.
Yeah.
And then like if there's ever like a turn, at least I would believe a Daniel Bryan Luke Harper match. Who gives a fuck about Eric Rowan? Whose dick is he sucking that he's still working?
I know, it's just his
See
size,
the back,
man.
like Pat Patterson having a 3-way, taking it from both ends from him and Tamina. Oh man, I mean, god damn it.
It's like
I'm just gonna sit back and just, be patient with it. I think I might be in a minority here, no pun intended. The fact that I'm actually okay to see where this goes. I am. I'm going to sit back. I'll critique it in a month if it bombs. But for now, that could be Daniel Bryan's his heat. I mean, to see how they book it.
No, for sure.
You really think that Daniel Bryan needs a heater, though? I mean, come on.
That character, yes, because he's starting to kind of come off like a cult leader.
Yeah, he's getting his own fucking heat. He doesn't need Eric Rowan, bro.
No, but you know how Vince is. Someone's got to have a heater every now.
He's got to look strong, yeah.
So we'll have this whole little Seattle-based NWO or something, I don't know, of Rowan, Daniel Bryan. Who's next to join them? Are they just going to repackage the Wyatt family as like Daniel Bryan's Seattle-based fucking
How funny would that be?
grunge?
When they were remember the angle where they were trying to recruit him?
Yep, and now it's like, look at where we are now. Fucking Daniel Bryan recruiting them. So, but either way, I thought it's hilarious because you know what? I honestly never loved the design of Steve Austin's belt or, Cena's spinner or any, this belt, it looks exactly like it and it just fits his character. So it's kind of funny. And I don't see it lasting till, if he goes to Mania with that championship after Mania, whoever beats him, that's it. They'll just stop it. But I think it's funny for his character. Two things going on I think left to talk about is that R-Truth winning the U.S. Championship the night after Nakamura regains it. But not only does he win it, not only does he beat Nakamura on SmackDown, he also beats Rusev. And I'm like, what year is it? What is going on right now? Why? Everybody was high on Rusev. Now it's like they made him a heel again overnight. And he beats Nakamura and Rusev. We're giving it to a 50-fucking-year-old R-Truth. What is happening? Why?
You know what, though? I really liked it. Fucking Truth is such an athletic son of a bitch.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I mean, you have him main event against The Miz and win. You've had him had a match against Daniel Bryan. And he stole the show, dude. So can you imagine him with some of these
match
younger
against
guys?
Daniel Bryan? That was a squash match.
No.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, that match was done in like a couple minutes. Truth had a couple offensive maneuvers, but it definitely didn't steal the show.
No. I said he stole the show with The Miz. That when he main evented, it stole the show and won the match. He won the main event in SmackDown against The Miz. Not that that's a big deal, but for somebody like him, it is. Who we usually just see backstage.
I have to look this up. I don't remember the match.
Ugh, whatever. It's not the point. Point of it is he's still an athletic freak. Tell me you wouldn't enjoy like an R-Truth versus say AJ Styles or Ricochet. That would be an athletic contest. Because I think he can hang with some of these guys who do some of these type of high-flying maneuvers because he himself does it. I mean, he was doing it 10, 15 years before some of these guys were even fucking born, bro.
I think we're building
10, 15 years ago, though.
I think we're building towards a U.S. championship.
Mike. He's still doing it.
We're building towards that U.S. championship, I think, ladder match for Mania. I think that's what's happening here. From Nakamura to Rusev to R-Truth and whoever else is in line. It's just, I don't know. It just seemed random and odd for me. Granted, R-Truth deserves something, I guess, for what he's been doing, but gets knocked out by Nia Jax one night, is the United States champion the next. So I guess anything can happen. Going back to the Rumble though, no Lars Sullivan. The dude's still lurking somewhere, and they actually put out a tweet about it. I guess he tweets off by the name of William Christensen. He said, "There's been a lot of speculation about Lars recently," he wrote. "It's true. He went missing several weeks ago, and I was just able to contact him this morning. Lars wants everyone to know that he's in a good place and is sorry to everyone he's disappointed." And whatever the fuck, the dude's like has a fucking alias on Twitter and speaks about him anyway. But people are saying it's still unclear when he's going to be brought back on the road. Triple H said during a recent media call that Lars is in a good place and nothing has really changed. So I guess they're still going to bring him in soon, but man, the best spot would have been at the Rumble. Best spot would have been in Nia Jax's spot, beating up all those fucking, those guys. But I guess
I don't know if he's going to even have a place when he comes back because, it's the machine's got to keep moving.
No, for sure.
They had plans for him, and he did not fill those plans, and Vince is just going to keep the machine going. And
kind of like the Revival, Mike, right?
that has nothing to do with the Revival.
Same fucking thing. The machine's got to keep going, whether you show up to work or not, whether it's for emotional reasons or maybe injuries. We just kind of had the same argument.
Where is this coming from?
I just hate you. You make arguments and then you hate on arguments when they don't benefit the guys you don't like.
You're just talking to get yourself over to create an argument. I'm just speaking about how Lars just had whatever happened backstage. He left and went missing on his own, regardless of what it was.
The machine's got to keep moving. That's what you said.
The machine has to keep moving.
When I said that, it was like,
there was no injuries.
Bad booking. It's bad booking.
There was no injuries. There was nothing. He did that on his own will. He didn't stay. He left because he had a panic attack or whatever the fuck happened. That's why the machine kept moving. It's a night and day argument compared to the Revival.
Keeps going, bro.
It's a night and day argument, though.
No, it's not. It's the same argument.
It is.
Machine's got to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. But it's two different reasons why the machine has to keep going.
Oh, my God, Ronnie.
Oh, stop using that Machine Gun Kelly lyric. Get your own material.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, that escalated quickly. How about this was kind of bizarre to me that in the Rumble Royal pre-show, they had one member of the Revival and one member of AOP in a match to find out if they would get a number one contender or something like that. I'm like, why couldn't we just had the Revival and AOP and whoever else go against like a three-way kind of a match? It was kind of bizarre. So that one guy from each team had to sit off on the show, and that was, I don't know, it was fucking weird.
Yeah, when that happened, I started looking around to see if because I know one of the AOP guys are injured. And then I had to look to see what happened to the other guy, the Revival. Did he walk or something? I didn't know, but he's perfectly fine apparently. They just I don't know what it was. I've kind of reminded me. Remember WCW back in the day when they mixed up the teams? They did at random drawings, or they would have a whole pay-per-view was just strange bedfellow tag teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that because it made no sense. It really did. I think they just wanted to fill spot. I think they just realized, shit, we booked a fucking 12-hour show. We can't have Jerry the King Lawler talking for 2 hours of the pre-show. We got to put another match on there.
Oh, man. Well, guys, next week we're going to be at NXT Poughkeepsie. So if you're listening to this and you want to meet another wrestling podcast, we'll be in the house, right, fellas?
And yes, I'll actually have good seats.
Yeah, right. You won't be behind the fucking stage this time.
Thank God.
I'll
be sitting where you guys were sitting for the 205 live show.
I think that's where I don't know where I'm sitting at. I don't know my tickets till I get to the door.
I meant to ask you guys, how were those seats?
They weren't bad. People kept walking. I mean, you're kind of close to the ground, but a lot of people just walking in front. But other than that, they're not bad because you're right in the front. So.
Yeah, I think we were were we in bleacher seats?
Yeah, we were the first row, I think, on the bleachers. So
it was that's where my seats are for the NXT show. It's first row in the bleachers.
So I'm on the floor somewhere.
Literally where you guys were.
Make sure you stand in front of Mike if anybody's going out there that's listening.
Just I swear to God, I'll fucking throw my beer at you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Hornswoggle can stand in front of Mike and he wouldn't be able to see.
Well, guys, another wrestling podcast.com. I don't know.
Oh, God. I swore I was going to be PC today. Look how well that ended up. I didn't body shame Cassius Ohno, but I made fun of Mike Cologne's height. What the fuck, dude? It's not fair.
How's that not being PC? You make fun of my height. I get made fun of my fucking height every day. Tell me something new.
That's my point. Like, I couldn't lay off. I had to make the joke. I didn't make fun of Cassius Ohno. I didn't make fun of Tamina's dick until later on into the. Oh God.
Everyone tells me
out.
I'm 5'6". I understand this.
All right, cut the part out about Tamina's dick, Credo. I'm not even kidding.